So I've trimmed off the excess zipper now, but what we're going to do first is you're going to mark the back of the heel and the center of the toe. So you're going to fold this and find the center of the toe. And then you're going to do the same with the sole. So you're going to fold it in half. And mark the center of the toe and the center of the heel. And then you're going to match those up. So you're starting with main fabric to main fabric. We'll do the lining second. So main fabric to main fabric. Now you'll have to ease the curves of the sole into the toe because the toe is bigger than the sole, and that's what helps it kind of stand up and create room for the depth of the foot. So what you do is you just kind of tuck, curve into the toe, and same on at the heel. And then once you've done that, just kind of pull the side taut so it matches up. And yeah, it will bubble a little bit like this, but once you're sewing, even if there's no stretch, you should be able to, it's not so much that you shouldn't be able to pull it and just get it to lay flat together as you sew. Alright, so I'm just going to sew this now. So now that the main sole is sewn on, the next step is to sandwich the boot in between the main sole and the lining sole. So first you're going to mark the center heel and center toe of your lining sole just like you did before. And same with the boot again. So you're going to start by matching up your toe and your heel, same as before. The top part of the boot is going to go out the side. And then pin around as best you can. There will be a section on the side that you obviously won't be able to sew because the boot's in the way. If you're doing an ankle boot, something with a shorter boot top, then you can tuck it inside and pin and sew all the way around, except for a gap to turn it right side out. But this is a little too bulky to do that. So we're gonna have to leave it out the side. And then just pin around as close to the boot as we can. And sew everywhere except for where the boot top is sticking out the side. Okay, so you can see that I've sewn all the way around except for where the boot top is sticking out of the side. So then to turn it right side out, I'm going to stuff everything in through that gap. And there you go, you've got a fully enclosed sole seam with this gap that just needs to be hand stitched shut. So it is quite bulky right now. The seam needs to be trimmed. So I'm going to turn it back this way. But before you trim the seam, you definitely, if you have access to the person that's going to be wearing it, you want to try it on them first. And just make sure that the fit is right, because if you need to make it bigger, you want to do that before you trim off the extra seam allowance. So for hand stitching this gap shut, you're just going to kind of fold the seam under, fold the raw edge of the lining under, put them together like this. And you can pin that shut while you hand stitch, or you could use, again, some of the wash away wonder tape to stick that together while you sew that shut. So for the ladder stitch, to close up that gap, first you want to anchor your stitch. I like to double up my thread and make a loop at the end. So I take one piece of thread, fold it in half, and then thread it to make a loop. Or you can tie a knot at the end, either way is fine. So for the ladder stitch, you're just going to go across the seam, then horizontal through one of the edges, and then back across, and horizontal again through the other edge. And you just keep going like that, and as you pull tight, your stitches will disappear. And ready to go. All done. Now you can also just do a quick whip stitch at the bottom of the zipper, which means that you would go across and down and under and then across and around, just to create a little lump of thread at the bottom there that will stop the zipper. But the seam will stop it as well. Like it's not really a big deal, I find.